All right, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. The way that proposition characterizes these awards and recognition shows that it is highly not nuanced and narrowed down to just the practical possible harms, such as unfair winning and racism. If at the end of Prime Minister's whole 8-minute speech, you have no idea what the Grammys or the BRIT awards are and how they work, you're not alone. Because proposition never fairly characterizes them and decided to jump to a conclusion where they would ruin art, they would ruin artists, and they are malicious. At the very least, they need to prove to you why reform is impossible, why all of these shows executives have the worst intentions for artists, and why the exploitation that they claim to happen can't just be fixed to the point that you need to oppose their entire existence. This is the major flaw in their case. They can't just get away with it and get your vote with that case. Now, before I move on to my case then, what are proposition's arguments? Firstly, they made an argument that big award shows are flawed in practice. Several responses to this. Firstly, note that proposition has just built their entire case on the grounds that these executives have had bad intention that are opposed to the aims of the artist. Now, note that this assumption cannot fly, especially since side proposition has given no analysis on what would motivate these executives to do so in the first place. Now, 2 reasons as to why their assumptions is false. Firstly, these executives are professionals, meaning that they have experience critiquing art. They've gone to universities and majored in these fields. They have built their reputation as someone who is respectable within the community, and perhaps the most important of all, they've had years and years of experience within this industry. Secondly then, even if these executives have malice intention at a personal level, they would have a bigger incentive at a professional level not to discriminate against groups of people or judge biasly. This is because if their award show have had a bad reputation for awarding bad artists, then that award show would have no prestige and people won't want to value it or watch it. The incentive for these executives to award good artists is no different than the incentives of companies and businesses to employ good workers. Secondly then, they made an argument about how there's discrimination within the art awards industry and that art is subjective. Now, my response to this is that, first of all, we do concede that the system isn't perfect in the status quo, but it is getting better and better with each passing day. So on our side, if we allow these shows to continue in the direction that they are going now, this problem will keep ceasing to exist. Look, in the past, minorities have basically won no awards. However, recently, there's been a lot of improvements being made in this issue. For example, Chloe Zhao, who was the first woman of color to win the Academy Award for Best Director in 2021, or Taika Waititi, who was a Maori filmmaker that won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay in 2020. Now then, a few important things on my framework. Firstly, the frame that side opposition gave you is that, oh, artists will only feel validated by winning awards and they would feel worthless if they don't. To which they then later contradict themselves by saying that artists will get validated by their supporters. So let's just clarify this mess then. Firstly, we think that proposition can just give you one standardized definition for satisfactions since every single person is different and they will get motivated by different things. We think that in this art industry, there will be artists that is motivated by winning award shows. There will be artists that feel accomplished when they do release an artwork. There will be artists that get satisfied from the money they make. And there will be artists that are just happy with the viewers they have, like those who view their songs. Secondly then, what is the counterfactual under our side? So the counterfactual under our side is that when these award shows exist, those who get motivated by these awards will benefit and try to work towards this goal, while on side proposition, these artists will be stripped of the source of their goal and achievement. Okay then, moving on to my case on firstly, why are these award shows vital to artists? And secondly, why the minorities will benefit from this. And to my first argument then, on why are these award shows vital to artists? First of all, let's just simplify this debate. Look, we can group the artists into 2 sections. Firstly, the artists that don't get validation from art award shows. This group of artists would remain more or less the same with or without the existence of these award shows. So we think that they aren't actually the focus of this debate. And the second group is that artists that do get validation from award shows. Now, this group of artists would then have 2 possible outcomes. The first outcome is that these artists will win the award. For this case, it is clear why our side wins, as at the end of the day, these artists are going to feel recognized and they would actually feel accomplished. Now, the second outcome then, these artists don't win the awards. Now, for this case, we think that you get recognition and awareness for just being nominated for an award. For example, If an artist gets nominated for a Grammy but they didn't win, these artists will still receive a large boost in viewers, as literally thousands and thousands of people will see that, oh, this artist got second or third for the Grammys. These artists will still receive a lot of respect and credit for making it this far in the award show, and these artists will get more opportunities in the future as other record producers, directors, etc. have seen that these artists are talented. Furthermore, just because an artist doesn't win an award, that doesn't mean that they're suddenly worthless and is a bad artist. Like, for example, just because I scored better in my maths test, which I got a 95% in, than my biology test, which I got an 85% in, it doesn't mean that I'm bad at biology just because my maths grade is better. And this logic can be applied to those in the words as well. Now, for those group that artists that are relatively small and they aren't nominated, I'd argue that the existence of this award show will give them a goal to work towards, and this is what motivates these artists to be better. For example, this would have the same logic as debaters who aren't as well known trying to get into NSDC and then WSDC, as this is a big goal they want to achieve towards, and as such, they're going to improve themselves by reading, like, for example, more articles. Look, maybe small artists may never become the best of the best, but they will still benefit from these award shows, as it tells them that these artists are appreciated in this world, that their work matters, that there are so many people out there that love whatever form of art they produce. Now, on to my second argument on why minorities will benefit from this. First of all, even if minorities have historically won less awards, these still do happen, and when it does happen, the impact it creates is massive. Look, at the end of the day, discrimination exists in the industry no matter what, and it isn't even exclusive to award shows. For example, propositions say that artists will get motivated by their fans. However, people will still have bias in general, and some people may be less likely to follow a black artist than a white artist. Furthermore then, when these artists do get these big awards, it does two important things. Firstly, it sends the message to other minorities that they can make it in this world and they should not lose hope. Secondly, the art they produce is seen by a larger audience. Now, this is beneficial as often these minorities will make art that talks about the issue that they are currently facing. So, for example, if a woman singer is making a song that depicts their frustration with the patriarchy in society, when this song wins a big award and everyone will listen to it, this will then in turn generate more awareness and an urgency towards this issue. Now, even if these artists don't win these big awards, we think that they're still likely to feel recognized when they win smaller awards. Now, notice that proposition can't just narrow down this debate into big shows, as the motion clearly states awards and recognition in general, and throughout their entire speech, proposition has never even acknowledged the existence of smaller award shows. So, for example, these award shows would look like regional contests for the best film, in which the minorities can compete and win these awards. Look, everyone's definition of success is different, and we think that it is likely for these minorities that they would know that the world is full of discrimination, and so when they do win something, even if it is small, they will appreciate it. Because of all of these reasons, then vote for opposition.